Jeff, thoughts on the Antonio Brown news?
Well, this is something that was essentially anticipated. Whether 8 games is what everybody expected, I don't know. That'd be up to those to decide. But I kind of anticipated 8 games. Now teams can get in line, and ultimately there are teams that are interested. Look, I would watch out for the Seahawks and the Ravens. They both have quarterbacks who are major leaders within their organization and have said that they've enjoyed working out with Antonio Brown. Tom Brady also really did want to see Antonio back on his team, potentially in Tampa, wherever he ended up. But in this case, Bruce Arians' relationship with him is such that I don't anticipate that. But I really would watch the Ravens and the Seahawks. I don't think Antonio Brown is done. As long as he is ready to commit to an organization, I think that an organization will be out there and one will be willing to give him a chance.
So Ryan, obviously this clears some things up. You know, if you sign Antonio Brown, you don't have him until your 9th game. What are your thoughts on what Jeff is talking about? Is this it for Antonio Brown? You expect him to come back?
No, this is the beginning of the beginning, actually. I think there was some uncertainty around how long he would be suspended or what will be the situation if you really look into Antonio Brown and want him to be a piece of your team. Now you have all the information. You have an opportunity to approach this situation and say, okay, we will have Antonio Brown starting this point if we decide to sign him. And teams are always going to be interested in getting better. And you tell me what football team Antonio Brown doesn't make better on the football field. And if you look at a guy like Russell Wilson, a guy like Lamar Jackson, they say they like him for at least dealing with the team and being a teammate. The little bit of time he was in New England, he didn't necessarily have an issue there. And so if Antonio Brown is ready to commit to making the proper decisions away from the football field, I believe that there are teams that are willing to take a chance on signing him because they know the upside when that whistle blows is so high.
Yeah, I believe that a team is going to take the chance on him. And you think after Thanksgiving, that's when the season really starts. And if after 8 weeks, teams are going to want to take the risk. They're going to want to bring him in because, look, he's talented. We know that he's talented. And my hope that is the time away, it's humbled him and he's taken the proper steps to get himself in the right direction to be a good teammate. So I think that a team is going to take a chance on him. There's clarity. Now you know that he won't be there for 8 weeks. After the 8 weeks is up, he'll come back to your team. And every single team throughout the season has guys coming in, guys going, tryouts, trying guys out to see where they're going to be at because there's always going to be injuries. So I think he'll be on a roster this year, yes.
Jeff, what goes into a team's thought process now? Like if you were looking at Antonio Brown, but you were waiting for this information, what kind of teams are we talking about, and what kind of things do they have to do to get to a point where they would offer him a contract?
Well, I mentioned the Ravens and the Seahawks as having quarterbacks that have advocated for him. They also have very strong head coaches in Harbaugh and Carroll, and we'll just have to see what they think as well. But the one, kind of to Nink's point, the one good thing here about having that 8-week suspension is if you're an organization, you decide to sign him, you sort of put him on the shelf and see how he acts and ultimately behaves during that time. And if it doesn't seem like it's going down a good path, then you get rid of him without really much of an issue. Look, I don't think any team in the NFL is going to have ultimate trust in Antonio Brown at this point after what we saw with the Steelers, with the Raiders, and with the Patriots. But there is certainly going to be a team that says, we kind of get 2 months to sort of evaluate the situation. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two teams, I think that I would definitely call those two the front runners for Antonio Brown. No question in my mind. And I would imagine that there's a team or two kind of in the wings saying maybe them too.
Just for clarity's sake, for people who are watching, he is suspended for the first 8 games. If he signs with a team, he's suspended for that team's first 8 games. If he doesn't sign with a team before the season starts, he is suspended effective September 5th and through the first 8 weeks of the season, or his club's 8th regular season game if he signs with a team during that suspension. RC, what else you got?
Well, I was just going to say, listen, I've been very vocal about Antonio Brown and some of my dealings with him, some of the things that I've known. But recently, it's been very quiet on his front. We haven't had some of these off-the-field blow-ups, some of these incidents that has made us look at him at least as a person in a way like we didn't want him in the locker room where he couldn't help a team. And to Nick's point, maybe he has grown, maybe now he understands, but you only know if you can get him into the building. You only know if you can deal with him for that time. So with Jeff saying, hey, we could put him on the shelf for 2 months, see how he behaves, see if he's matured, I think that's the smart thing to do, because you know if you get him on the field and he vibes in your locker room, he immediately makes your offense better. He immediately makes your quarterback better and gives you opportunities to win football games.
One thing we definitely know about Antonio Brown is when he is on the field, he has produced. You see here, second in the NFL since 2010 in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Jeff, you have more?
Number one.
I'm just going to add one thing. Marquise Brown, we should remember, Hollywood Brown is Antonio's cousin. So when they've all worked out together, like that's just another relationship, another fit that we should think about when it comes to the Ravens.
Certainly a team to watch, especially after what Lamar Jackson said about Antonio Brown earlier this week.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.